Hi guys, it's Laura. Thank you so much for watching and welcome back to my channel. I am here today with another sewing tutorial. Today I will show you how I made my jeggings. Now I absolutely love jeggings because they have the denim look, which I find very pretty. However, they are as comfortable as leggings. So for me personally, this is the perfect combination, and that's why I definitely wanted to make myself a pair of jeggings. I created the pattern myself. I will explain it also in today's video. So if you want to know how I made my jeggings, then please keep watching. Now, the basic pattern that I have used for my jeggings pattern was a regular leggings pattern that I have created also myself. I think it was last fall. I linked the video down below, and if you haven't seen it yet, I would definitely suggest you would watch it first before you go on with this video. And I added a few details, changed just a few things, and now I will show you what are the differences. Now, the additional details in comparison with the pattern for regular leggings are following. So I have here a fly on the middle of the front part. I simply added this shape, and you will see during today's tutorial what I'm going to do with that. Then I have here a faux front pocket and back yoke. So for the front pocket, or faux front pocket, I simply made a mark where I wanted to have it. Then I cut the pattern apart. Then I have aligned the side of the front pocket with the back part of my leggings, and then I knew where I should start drawing the back yoke. So I went a little bit lower towards the middle of the back part, and then I cut the pattern also apart, and so now I have a back yoke, just like you would have on any regular jeans. Then I made a mark where I want to have my back pocket. So here is the pattern. I also have to add seam allowance around the entire shape. And then I have here a waistband. Well, that's not different, but this time my waistband is going to be much higher because I'm going to use a really wide elastic band, which you don't have to use. You can use a regular elastic band, whatever you prefer. And that's all that's different in comparison with the regular leggings pattern. The rest remains the same. And here is what it looked like once I cut all the pieces of the fabric. So in the back we have the front part. Then there is the front pocket, both twice, 2 pieces for the back yoke, 2 pieces for the back pocket, 2 parts, like twice the back part for the jeggings, and then I have here the waistband, which is folded here on one side, and this is how wide it is when you see it unfolded. The preparations before I started sewing were following. I pinned the faux pockets to the front parts of the jeggings. Then I have pinned the back yoke in the middle. And then I folded the sides of the back pockets. So I folded those only once, but the upper edge I folded twice inwards. And then I pinned all in place. Here we have the pockets. Everything is already pinned in place. So as I have already mentioned, the upper edge is folded twice inwards and the sides only once inwards, and all is pinned in place. And before I start working further with them, I always like checking if they are the perfect mirror image. So I always put them with the good sides facing each other and check if everything is perfectly aligned. Now let's have a look at the front part of the pants and at the faux pocket. So when I align the faux pocket with the front part, you can clearly tell that the fabric overlaps here, which also means that this line is slightly longer than this line. And since this is rounded, you have to keep that in mind when you start pinning those pieces together. So what you want to do is you want to turn the pieces so that the longer line is going to be on the top, and you're gonna be folding it like this. So I will start pinning here the sides first. So I always like doing that, and here. And it is easier to align the fabric like this than if I would try doing it like that, because then I could create folds and that could turn out ugly when I would start sewing through, because if I wouldn't notice that, I would have a fold in there and then I would have to open the stitch. You get the idea. So this is always best. So remember, whenever you fold pinning together pieces that are rounded, the longer part should be on the top, and then you kind of fold it towards you, you kind of round it while you're pinning the pieces together, and then you should be fine. It should be also okay while sewing the pieces together. However, I always recommend looking out for folds when you're sewing together. Rather sew slowly and take your time, because especially on stretchy fabrics, opening stitches can be really pain in the rear end, and we don't want that. So now, funnily enough, it starts turning the other way, but you can clearly see that this is flat and there are no folds. One additional information for you guys: for sewing the jeggings together, I'm going to use this thread, which is a denim thread. And as a comparison, I have here a regular thread, and you can tell that the denim thread is much thicker. So that's the one I'm gonna use, because that is also adding to the denim effect. I proceeded with pinning the side of the waistband together. I have sewn it through with a stretchy overlock stitch, and then I cut back any excess fabric and pinned the seam to one side. I have sewn through with a stretchy straight stitch, and here's what it looked like. Next, I have sewn the ends of my elastic waistband together. Then it looked like this. As a next step, I have sewn the four pockets on the front part with a stretchy overlock stitch. Then I folded the fabric downwards and pinned it in place. And I have sewn through with a stretchy straight stitch. I have sewn through the upper edge of the back pockets with a straight stitch, and I pinned on the left pocket my signature crest. Then I have sewn one pocket on with straight stitch in 2 rows. Whenever I pin the second back pocket on the second back part, I like laying the pockets as mirror images with the good sides facing each other. Then I put the remaining back part on it and align it with the first back part. Then I always pin the pocket on from the bed side so that it stays in place. And this is basically my favorite way how to make sure that the pockets are positioned symmetrically. So once that was done, I turned the back part to the good side and I pinned the pocket properly on. Just to make sure, I double checked before I have sewn the second back pocket on. Next, I pinned on each back part the yoke pieces. I have sewn them on with a stretchy overlock stitch. Then I pinned the seam to one side and I have sewn through with a stretchy straight stitch. After that, I could pin the back parts together. I have sewn the pieces together with stretchy overlock stitch, and again I pinned the seam to one side and I have sewn through with the stretchy straight stitch. And here is what it looked like once that was done. Then I have sewn the front parts together. First I made a line around the flies so that I knew where to sew. Once the parts have been sewn together with a stretchy overlock stitch, I pinned the fly to one side and I have sewn through in 2 rows with a stretchy straight stitch. You can probably see by now that all has the typical denim look because of the contrast thread that I've been using. Next, I pinned the outer side of the jeggings together. I have sewn it together with the stretchy overlock stitch. Then I folded the seam towards the back side and I have sewn it through with a stretchy straight stitch. Then I repeated the procedure also on the other side. As a next step, I pinned the inner sides of the jeggings together. Once I have sewn them together with stretchy overlock stitch, I cut back any excess fabric. Here is what it looked like. And then I started pinning the waistband on. I have sewn the waistband in place with the stretchy overlock stitch. Then I pinned the elastic band to the upper edge of the waistband. I used also stretchy overlock stitch for sewing the elastic band in place. Then I folded the elastic band twice inwards and pinned it in place. And then I have sewn it through with a stretchy straight stitch. As a last step, I folded the bottom edges of the jeggings twice inwards. I've sewn them through with a stretchy straight stitch, and then my jeggings were done. Alright guys, now it's time for you to learn from my mistakes, which is always best if you can learn from mistakes that other people made. So first of all, what I didn't think about is that the elastic band that I used originally for my waistband was a little bit too stiff and thick, and it ended up being really difficult to put the jeggings on because this is really hard to stretch out. So I had to replace it with an elastic waistband that was a little bit less stiff, and I also did not like how high it was at the end, so I went with an elastic band that is not as wide as this one. And then I had some troubles with sewing through with the stretchy straight stitch here. For some reason the sewing machine started doing those loops, and I thought it's some settings, maybe something is tangled, so I checked everything. It didn't help, and at the end it only changed when I used the regular thread instead of the denim thread. But I don't think it's the thread, I think it's the size of this that was the problem. Also, this thing has here those little teeth where you can hook your thread in, and that's on the bottom, and very often it just got tangled in it. So at the end I had to sew through here with a regular thread, which is fine because it still looks good. So that's the end version, and now I will put my jeggings on for you. So this is how I made my jeggings. They turned out absolutely alright. I already love them. They are super comfy and all went well despite the problems with the original waistband, which by the way drove me really nuts. I was so mad. I don't know if you also get mad like this when something goes wrong when you're sewing, but I even ended up yelling at my sewing machine, which was probably very funny to watch. And if I hadn't already questioned my sanity every now and then, I would have probably started today. Anyway, I'm super happy I found a solution, and I think this is definitely a really practical piece for my wardrobe. So that was my video for today. If you liked it, don't forget to give the video a thumb up. You can also subscribe to my channel if you hadn't yet, because that way you won't miss any further projects, and I would be super happy about that. You can also follow me on Instagram. All of my Instagram accounts are linked down below. I have listed also all related videos down below, together with some videos I think might be interesting for you. It was fun seeing you guys. I'm happy I had another sewing project for you today, and I'm looking forward to seeing you with my next video. So thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye!